Hello everyone and welcome back to Run It Up. Run It Up number 86. We are here today playing some 50-cent $1 no limit Texas Hold'em on ultimatepoker.com. Very first hand of the match, king and queen against a limp and a complete. I think we should start off with the raise here. Start off the video right. There's no limping on the button. We're in the big blind with king and queen, okay? Let's be real. All right, $2 sweet. Thanks for watching, everybody. We've ran it up. See you later. Peace. That would be quite the thing. You guys would be kind of annoyed if that was the thing. Don't worry. We're getting settled in here. It'll be a nice long session. I'm feeling good. I think this will be a fun video. Yesterday I was kind of in a, I don't know. You know, we do videos 5 days a week. Yeah, there's a spectrum of moods, and some videos hit different parts of the spectrum. I don't know what to say. It is what it is. You know, there are more poker-heavy episodes, and then there are more joke-heavy episodes, and it's been a little crazy around here this week. I don't really want to talk about some parts of it. You know, there's got to be a bit of a barrier slightly, but it's mostly just been, like, busy in weird ways, and I've had people in town that have kind of made some weird, it's been kind of crazy again. I had the nice Christmas break, and now it's a whole new world of craziness. But feeling good. Got the Run It Up headquarters to myself, so I can be as loud as I like. Of course, the thing that I am very happy about. So yeah, it's all good. It's all good in the hood, yo. That's right. That's what we're going with here. So, yeah, $1,840, trying to get over 2K. I would have played $1 or $2. There is a game running, but as I was talking about, I have a very narrow window to record videos completely freely. So there was a seat open at this game and not at 1-2. So here we are, 50 cent $1. I know we've played a lot of 50 cent $1 recently, but hey, what can you do? I actually don't recognize any of our opponents. Maybe we've seen one. Maybe we've seen Ladyfingers before, but I don't actually recognize any of them, really. All right, going to raise it up here. 6-8 of blue. I think it doesn't matter what size we make it. We don't know our opponents that well, so it's hard to say what is best. I think a little bit smaller is probably better if I had to pick one way or the other because of the guy in the small blind who has only $35. That doesn't stop him, though. I call. Small blind. All right. Let's see a flop dealer. Oh, yeah. Beautiful flop for us. We have 4 in a row. That's great. And 3 of the same shape in a row as well. That was it. That was all I had to say about that. And our opponent says, all right, you got this one. All right. Hey, I'll take it. Thanks for giving it to me. I appreciate it. Got a nice stack of Dear J. Carvers. Somewhere. I think. Yeah, over there. I actually wasn't sure. I was like, oh, maybe I forgot them somewhere else. But nope, they're here, ready to go. So I might get through those today. If you've got an email for me, if you got a question for me, you can email me. Or an email for me. You can do it either way. You can email me, dearjcarver@gmail.com. That is the place to go. You can email me I don't love poker questions, but you can email me anything you want. You might see your question read on the show. Wow, back to 4 in a row so fast. Against a guy with $30, I would have been very tempted to check and raise here. Given that our opponent checked back, I actually think that checking is probably better than betting here. I like to be aggressive with hands like this, but I think when the ace turns is going to so often improve him that I think the cheapest way to play the hand is just to check call. 7 high is probably not the best hand, spoiler alert, but a 7 or a 5 might be good, and obviously an 8 or a 3 would be good as well. And I suppose once in a while we'll also win the pot with a diamond on the river, maybe something like that. But I'm just going to play this hand straightforwardly and check and fold. You got it. You got it. I don't know what to say. I have 7 high. I can't really do much about it. All right. Doc August joins the table. We played with that guy for a little while in one of the videos last week. But I don't really remember anything about him. He was in that seat. I remember that much. But I don't really remember. I think he was a little bit more aggressive pre-flop. That's my memory of that. I suppose we will find out. So I actually will lean towards being a little bit tighter with my opens against him. But I feel like all the limps on this side of the table make me probably feel like we're going to be more inclined to play pots on that side of the table, against that side of the table anyway. Going to start here with a lead, not something that I do super often, but I think against 3 people, one of whom limped, I feel like there's not really any kind of guarantee of aggression here. And even if he is aggressive, we're just going to be calling. So I felt like we should probably just bet. And now here on the turn, we're again kind of a weird situation where we might not have the best hand, but I think we're a favorite too. Too many hands are like 4-3, clubs, some sort of straight draw, flush draw. There are so many things that I think we are ahead of that I believe we can bet here twice. If they're ever, well, okay. So I have no idea what to make of this, except for the fact that, okay, I don't have no idea, but I would assume that we are beat at this point by a guy who's open limped twice. I would find it hard to imagine that this guy's got just like King Jack offsuit and is like, I'm gonna put him in the midway. Wow. I couldn't even finish the joke because both of us folded so fast. Oh my god, that's embarrassing. What do you have that you're folding to a min raise? What is going on? We'll call 9, but you'll fold to a min raise. All right. Boy, that was that was a sick bluff if he pulled off a bluff there. I mean, obviously, I don't think he was bluffing very often, but it's still obviously kind of silly. There's no real hand that could be optimally min raised on the turn there. But apparently, bluffs would have worked really well. Apparently, a bluff would have been great there. You get 2 folds for a great price. I'm certainly calling here. We're in position. We have 2 cards. How do we fold? That's right. You guys know if you've been around for more than a day or two. Oh, wow. 4 in a row again. Let's see if we can make it 5 this time. Once again with the straight and flush draw. So I think I'm actually going to just call. We could do a raise thing, something like that. Raise, get it in, run the cards dealer. It could be a option, but I actually think calling is fine as well. Sort of a scary card, but we do have a backdoor flush draw now turned into a real flush draw just in case. Against a pot-sized bet, I would find it hard to believe that if we shove, this opponent's going to fold. Like, what hands does he play this way that are going to bet like this and then fold? Not a ton. But I don't think we're going to fold yet. I don't necessarily think an 8 or a 6 is good, but it might be. And then a 5 or a 10 or a spade is probably good enough. Let's see a river card dealer. That looks like a good one for me. I'm just saying. Oh, all right. Flush to win. No. All I gotta say is I got 5 in a row, bitch. That's right. So, oh, hello there. Well, thank you. Yellow chip, huh? All right. Not to dig the needle in even further. I get to win $70 or $80 and get to yellow chip? Boy, what a day. What a heater. So apparently we were behind there on 3 of the 4 streets, but we were very good equity on the turn. Any spade, any 10, any 5. So obviously we were slightly behind, but then we weren't going to put money in on the river. If the river was a 4, we wouldn't have lost more money. So given the fact that he was very likely to shove on most rivers, maybe not spades, maybe he would have check called all in on spades, maybe he would have check folded on spades. Don't know for sure what his plan was there. But all in all, how do we fold? Made it 2, he made it 5. We got to call in position. Then on the flop, we have an open ender. We got to call. And on the turn, we have a flush draw and an open ender. How do we fold there? I think we had to do what we had to do. And then now he cracks aces with his own 7-5. All right, hey, we're his. It's all fair. Yeah, we might have won a pot that was 8 times bigger, but justice, baby. Yeah, I think we played our hand totally fine. I don't think there is really anything else we could have done there. I mean, mathematically speaking, I think it's fine on every street. Gonna defend here in the... I guess I'm not really defending anything, but I'm defending my cutoff, defending my hijack with the King Jack offsuit here against the guy who we were pretty deep stacked against, which is obviously a thing that I like a lot in position. We'll be able to put this guy in a lot of cages, given that we're so deep in position. Not sure that this flop will be the one that we do it on. I'm not going to fold for $1, though, spoiler alert. Maybe I can min raise and he'll just fold. It's possible. All right, I guess we just give up. I guess we just give up now against the $7 raise. This is some interesting dynamics going on here. I'm very curious to see how this proceeds. So if you were going to ask me, hey, Jay Carver, listen, I feel like my aces get cracked all the time. How do I play aces? I play aces the same way as good old lady fingers over there. How do you recommend I play my aces, if not the way that she played them? And I would tell you, number 1, I would say raise more preflop. Come on, you got to raise bigger than that. 3.5 times out of position is where you should be, if not even a little bit bigger. Especially if you're playing somebody who's better than you, I think you should definitely make it a little bit bigger. It just reduces the amount of things you handcuff fellas like me. All right, that's a sad run out for us. But you handcuff better players by reducing the amount of money that they get to play with post-flop, right? Like, if we were only going to play a pre-flop game, let's say there was no post-flop poker, and holdem just kept going until, the hand was over or whatever it was. Like, it would be, well, that's a weird game. But I think generally speaking, like, if you were going to play pre-flop, all of you guys would have a much better chance at making good decisions pre-flop against me than you would making, like, river decisions when you're super deep. I've been there so many more times and have much more experience, whereas pre-flop, you really can't go too wrong, once you're a certain level of good, But, so yeah, I would say that her first mistake was that she didn't re-raise big enough pre-flop. That there are not two cards in this deck of cards that we're playing with, or so I assume. There are not two cards that I would fold for $3 more there. How could I fold? I made it 2, he made it 5, plus the big blind in there as well, so there's 8 in there. I have to call 3 to an 8? That's a great deal. I can't pass up a bargain like that. This is a recession. I can't pass up a price like that. So obviously I stick around there, and then flop, we have open ender. He bets a pretty big amount, but he bet like 7 into whatever the number was. So I feel like we could raise, arguably. If we think our opponent is weaker, we would raise, to get him to fold ace highs, king highs, stuff like that. Or call, which is what we did. Excuse me. I think calling is fine as well, because we're not sure. Also, I think, like, let's say our opponent has ace king, right? Let's say our opponent has ace king and we call him. The turn card is a jack. Is our opponent going to check call with ace king on a 9-7 low card jack board? That seems kind of optimistic to me. Okay, I guess we'll fold. Hurts me badly. King 5? Okay, I guess. But yeah, so we're on the turn now. We just finished the flop yet? But yeah, we could raise if we think we're going to fold. But if he has ace king and turn card is jack, right? And that's where we were. Turn card is a jack. What is he going to do? He's going to fucking check call, hope for ace king on the river, and then no. That's not going to work out very well for him. He'll, unless we're like super passive, which, obviously we're not. Some opponents are. But, if we were like really give uppy, then maybe it would be okay. But I think we'll be able to win the pot with a lot of shenanigans on the turn very often. Even though we don't have the best hand, given our exact hand, I think there'll be a lot of scary turn cards. That's what I did there. Scary turn cards. There'll be a lot of scary turn cards that won't improve us, but might make him check fold a better no pair than ours. And then on the river, I correctly think that he made the right decision to shove. It depends. You got to think about what are the hands that he thinks we have, right? He thinks we have like 2 10s, 2 jacks, ace king maybe, turn to king, could have a 9, whatever. I think if that's what he thinks if that's what he thinks we have, then yeah, I'm all in. That seems like the right thing to do. If he thinks that we're more like missed draw heavy, which, isn't that realistic, how many missed draws can we really have? But if he thinks that, then what should he do? That's right. Check. That's right. Good answer if you said check. If you said nothing and just sat there and rolled your eyes and waited for me to hear, waited for me to give you the answer, well, all right then. I guess you can do that if you want. You live your own life out there in YouTube land. I'm not your dad, as we've been through many times. I'm going to raise here. Going to make it even 5, not 4, because we're so deep against this guy. Happily going to see a flop here, I would guess, pretty often. If he's limp folding, it would be kind of nuts, to be honest, but okay. I will take your $2.50 and stick it onto the pile. Happily so, I may add. Definitely not open folding too many hands here. I know we had seen Doc August. We had said Doc August might be aggressive, but I don't know that for sure often enough. Let's min-raise it up here with the old jack and 7. Definitely planning on min-raising against a guy who I suspect is aggressive, and then shorter stack in the big blind, plus ladyfingers may be a little tilted at us with our little 6-8 offsuit dance. Not a great flop. Not the worst flop either, though. We do have backdoor straight draw, and we have 2 overcards to second pair, so if we're just a spike away from having second pair, that's kind of sweet. Start with a bet. Hopefully ladyfingers folds. It really increases the chances of us winning this pot once we have position. Okay. 8 of spades. Interesting turn card. I believe it's a turn card that is better for us than for him, although not by like a significant amount. But no, probably a significant amount. We're gonna have way more spades than our opponent here, just because I would imagine that he's more likely to check raise than check call with spades. Not all the time. It's certainly possible he has flushes or hands he just plays aggressively at this point, like King Jack with the Jack of Spades or something like that. I was really rooting for a spade here, and it doesn't look like I got my way. Spoiler alert, in case you are not able to see. So, listen, I like to bluff in spots like this. I do. I really love bluffing in spots like this. However, I don't feel like this guy is going to fold a king to us in this universe ever. If I check back and he has a 3, I'm going to be very sad. If he has like ace-3 offsuit. But I think I just give up. And, damn it. I was right. Spade would have been good. Spade would have been... I would have definitely bet on spades. I would have bet on a lot of river cards. But I felt like he was too likely not to fold and just held on. I actually think that I'm a little surprised that he called turn, because I think that you're going to find yourself in some situations on rivers that are going to be very uncomfortable pretty often. Like, you're check calling turn, assuming you have the best hand, but I'm going to bet river so often that I think you'll have issues on river. But hey, he made a good call on flop and turn, so you can't say anything bad about that. But I would have imagined if he turned over 2 7s on the turn, or I somehow knew he had 2 7s on the turn, I would have definitely bet. And he made a good call, though. So there you go. Enjoy the $14 or whatever it is. Buy yourself something really nice. What's the nicest thing you can buy for $14? I'm totally bricking. I have no idea. If you had $14, what would you do right now? Oh, yeah, that would be a great promotion, wouldn't it? Ballin'! What would you do for $14? That's right. I don't know. The possibilities are only ended by your, lack of imagination, I suppose. All right, pretty good flop here for us with the ace and the jack. I think we usually bet here. Maybe we can check against this opponent and give him an opportunity to bluff or get there with worse. Not get there all the way, but get there part of the way with worse. $2. Okay. So let's check raise. Sure, that was the plan to begin with. Let's not deviate from there. I check and I raise. If he has his beat, okay. He has his beat. Run the cards dealer. Let's see some 8s and 9s. Or he can just fold. There's at least a good possibility that we made $2 more than we would have if we had just bet, and he just folded. So there's that. Is it 100%? Yeah, maybe he had Jack 10 and would have called flop and then turned to Jack, and then we would have got it all. It's possible, but you can't know that for sure. You just got to, make the right decision, make the best decision, and go from there. By the way, in very exciting news, if you're a League of Legends fan, I have made it to my gold promotion matches. Yes, that's right. Finally, I did it. I didn't play for a while, but I'm there now. I'm 1-2. It's a best of 5, so I have to win the last 2 to get there, or climb my way back in there. But I feel good about it. I think I might finally make it into the gold level. That's right. Very exciting times over here at Team Run It Up. The most important thing of life. I could be a gold level League of Legends player. That would be great. I would be very happy with that. My pride in that would be only a very close second to winning a bracelet. Very close second, if that were to happen. I guess we just fold, as sad as it is to fold anything ever. All right. I fold. I surrender. Let's pull some Dear J. Carver questions. I'm excited. I am excited to pull some Dear J. Carver questions. Oh, before we get started with Dear J. Carver questions, as you may or may not recall, back in November, we did our first Ultimate Run It Up Warrior contest promotion thing, where 2 Run It Up Warriors flew in, one from New Jersey, one from Leeds in the United Kingdom, and we hung out. We went to UFC 167 and played a sit and go, a whole bunch of things. And one of the Run It Up Warriors, whose name is John, gave me this little thing, which you've seen it. It's been in the back, but I've moved it up purely to show you guys. So it's a cage, as you may be familiar. And what's in the cage? What else would be in the cage? How cool is that? How cool is that? It is a cat in a cage. What a great little gift, right? I had left it on the thing, but I don't think anyone could really see that far back, so I felt like it needed the light of day. And so there you go. There you go, light of day. I'll totally take running up gifts. I think it's great. I'm all about it. It's awesome. How can you beat that? That's great. Pocket Sixes takes it down there, I guess. Doesn't want to believe him correctly, as it turns out. Beautiful hand here on the button. King Jack of Hearts. Not going anywhere. Limp? Don't think so. Sorry, bruh. $4 for FRO over there. Over to you, Rick Moranis. $4? That's a lot. I'm out of here. All right. People are such nits these days. 2 times limp folds, maybe even 3 times. Oh no, he's mad. I've had it. I'm sick of this. I'm going to somewhere more friendly. Oh no, he's stuck around. Thank God. I was worried. He was sick of my raising nonsense. I will make sure. I guess if he's not sick of it, I might as well continue. Min raise with my ace 9 offsuit. Don't believe I'm going anywhere. Although this game has been kind of passive, so if people start re-raising like crazy, maybe I'll believe them with my ace 9 offsuit. But off to the flop we go. That is what I like to see. King and 10 and 2. All right, let's start with the bet here. He'll definitely fold better. He'll call with worse some percentage of the time. Not too often, of course, but sometimes he calls worse. Queen Jack, gut shots, flush draws, things of that nature. Looks like not this time, though. All right. I feel good about this game. I feel like nobody can hurt us. We're going to be pretty loosey-goosey as long as this game is running for. Not that that's much different than normal, I suppose. Jay Carver, loosey-goosey. Oh, I never. I don't know what voice that was. That was like a combo voice. That was like a partially nerd rage, partially like a surprised 35-year-old housewife. Maybe mid-40s. That might have been mid-40s housewife, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. So, thinking about this, I could check and raise with my 9-3 puppy dog feet, or I could just check call. Oh, let's go with call. I think they're both pretty equally fine. Ace is a scary card because it's higher than 9. That's right. Oh, yeah. Big breaking news here on Running Up today. Our opponent checks back, which is really sad because if our opponent didn't have an ace, he's more likely to bet than to check, usually. And now at this point, I guess we just check, suppose we just check and we make a decision as it works out. So, very interesting. He checks back on turn, and now here we are. Let's try this. I like this idea. I check and I raise. Why can't I have 7-8? I could definitely have 7-8. Why can't I have 7-8 and play exactly this way? I don't think he's folding a set. I don't think he folds 2 pair. Maybe he doesn't fold even like an ace. Damn it. I thought, though, that there is a somewhat decent chance that he would just be in there with like a single ace, that he was playing tricky on turn, that might be able to convince him to fold on the river, but that might have just been a little too fancy, perhaps. But I think it's fine. I don't mind mixing things like that in our game every once in a while, even if they don't work out, because, look, when he checks back on turn, we're definitely concerned that he has it, right? Because he is just so much more likely to bluff on turn when the ace hits than not. And when he takes when he plays his hand that way, I just thought that there would be a fairly decent % chance that he would be able to fold on the river. And we're risking 55 to win 15 plus whatever was in the pot at that point. Turn went check. Flop was... Oh, what happened on the flop? Flop was, he bet, we called, so it was like 12, something like that, plus 15, 27. So, it has to work pretty often for us to break even, but I think it does, unless our opponent has just always got 2 pair plus and always calls. It definitely might not be okay. If the guy is never bluffing or never capable of bet folding, I should say, then obviously it's really bad. clearly. If he's never bet folding, then yes, it's really bad. But I think he's probably bet folding often enough that it's got to be at least close to okay. And it's the kind of thing where I think it just makes us generally tougher to play against as well. So even if like that play breaks even over the course of like 100 times in that situation, the fact that we can turn pairs into bluffs like that, I think makes us generally tougher to play against and buys us value in the future. Does that make sense? I don't think is necessarily the reason to do it, but given that it's like nearly break even, I do think that it's the kind of thing where people go like, oh wow, he did that with that. And I think it helps us in the long run in adjusting. Interesting though. All right, three-handed poker game here. I like our spot, generally speaking, although I guess I would switch these opponents if I could, because it seems like Chelsea is a little bit less aggressive, and obviously we've seen Doc August around a little bit. Starting here with a complete pre-flop with my queen far offsuit, and then a single bet here. If he raises, we're certainly calling. Okay, still on that betting plan. I don't think there's any reason not to just go bet. Can't fold. He has his beat. They're very weird hands. He has to have his beat. He has to have like queen 6, 9, 6, 8, 6, something like that. He could definitely have raised on turn with some sort of like a combo draw, some sort of like 6-7, 8-7, that kind of a hand. Could definitely have played this way and raised on turn. And at this point, I feel like this would be kind of a weird spot for him to bluff, because so often we have 7s or hands that have jacks in them or 2-pair, you know, so I feel like he is so much more likely to have it than not. Because what are the hands he plays this way that calls flop, raises turn, and now doesn't want to either check back? Like, you know, he has to have like really weird hands to have us not beat here. Like what does he have? He can't have a jack or a 7 in his hand, because those would just be straights. So he has to have like ace highs usually raise pre-flop some percentage of the time. You know, there's not a ton of hands. There's not a ton of hands that he can have there that I think don't have us beat. And I'm not folding yet. Not for a $1 lead, of course. Turned ourselves them gut shots, so we're an 8 away from glory. Let's think about this here. Our options are call, raise, or fold. That's right. So I think raising is okay. Calling seems also alright. I guess folding is okay as well. I mean, I don't think queen high is very often the best hand on the river, on the turn here. I mean, it could be sometimes, but it's not that often. So there's that at least. And yeah, so queen high is probably not the best hand. We could call, but he seems like he pretty clearly has his beat to at least some degree. And, you know, even if it's just a 9 or whatever, I'm not necessarily sure how often that gets to the river and then, you know, folds. So I played a little passively, but I think it's aight. Over to the small blind we go. I guess we just fold to a raise. Let's pull some Dear J. Carver questions. If you have a question for me, I almost said it again. If you have an email for me. If you have a question for me, dearjcarver@gmail.com, and you might see your question read on the show. It's a possibility. Dear J. Carver, where did you make the bulk of your net worth? Playing poker, staking, sponsorships? Obviously, I don't need to know specifics. Oh, how kind of you. Just curious. Thank you, not your biggest fan, just a casual viewer. Well, thank you. I appreciate your honesty, you know? I get it, you know? Not everybody can watch 5 hours a week. I understand. You know, nobody I know watches me 5 hours a week. Not my parents, not my boyfriend. Nobody watches even like a video. So I appreciate you watching it all. It's great. So your question was, oh yeah. So for years, the majority of my income came from poker and poker only. And I would even go so far as to say that the majority of the ways that I lost money was actually outside of poker, in business investments and staking and stuff like that. And then towards the end of my career, well, not the end of my career, I should say, but during the more recent stages and the time where I like stopped grinding so much, then it became Still not business stuff. Business stuff was all outflow. It was all outflow, and staking became an actual income source, which was a nice turnaround. And then let's re-raise here. I think this is a decent spot to re-raise with King Jack. We're going to get called by worse often enough that we get some value out of this, I think, and I feel comfortable in making decisions. If he re-raises, I'm probably just going to fold. I don't think we have any kind of dynamic where I can expect him to be re-raising light here with something that's worse than King Jack. But otherwise, we're risking 11 to win 7, because remember, we're in there for $1, so pretty good flop for us. With a guy who has has 2 times pot, we're definitely not folding. I think we bet like 12, 13, 14, maybe even a little bit bigger. Something to kind of pretend we have ace-king or are weak in some way. But on this board, there's obviously not too many options for our opponent if he just has nothing. So yeah, for the majority of my life, poker was how I made most of my money, and everything else kind of was an outflow. But in the last couple of years, it's obviously changed, and there have been some different sources. But I would still say that the majority of the money that I've made lifetime is all from poker. I mean, you know, I would tell you that if you were getting started in poker, the best thing I would tell you to do is avoid staking almost entirely. It's almost never going to be a good idea between the hassle of the accounting and there is just so many reasons not to go into it. If you want to ask me why not to go into it, write me an email, trjcarver@gmail.com, and maybe I can answer your question. But yeah, I would just generally tell you that I think staking is one of those things that a lot of people go like, oh yeah, I play poker, so I can know how to stake people. But there are so many possibilities for errors, and I have a lot of opinions on why staking, I think, is a bad place for most people to get into. And I know a lot of people that had money from poker, got into backing, and then had no money in it at all. It's very easy to do. In fact, at several points in my career, I put myself into weird situations financially because I had a horse that I was staking, and like there was a time in my life, maybe 5 years ago, it's probably right about the right time period, where I had like 50,000 to my name and started staking a guy, and that guy lost 25K, and I broke even. So now I have 25K, and I'm lowering my stakes so I can afford to put him in stuff that he's not winning in. Like, it's just crazy. What are you doing? Like, you know, it's just like completely backwards and baffling. Let's see a river card dealer. Not the one I'm looking for particularly. Blue card would have been good as well. 8 might have even been fine. But yeah, I think we just fold with 8 high now. So yeah, I think that staying away from backing is usually a good idea, generally speaking. Let's see if we'll get some heads up action in here. All right. Looks good so far. No fear from Chelsea FC over there. No fear. Oh, okay. I guess there's fear after all. Let's find ourselves another poker game, I suppose. Oh, the 1-2 game is still full, by the way. Damn it. All right. Let's do this. I guess we'll sit here, and all right. So we are at the other table. We lost 865. Whatever. I'll just figure it out later. So I'll go back and I'll re-add that back up. Don't see this avatar too often. It's like a cyborg Sharon Osbourne. Actually, that's a lot what it looks like, actually. Considering I was just making it up. That looks like a Terminator Sharon Osbourne. That's not a bad one. If I wasn't so enthralled with the leprechaun status, maybe we would be a cyborg Sharon Osbourne. Maybe one day, kids, if you go to school and, you know, all that nonsense, you can be a cyborg leprechaun. A cyborg Sharon Osbourne, I should say. So yeah, I just feel like so many people blow so much money in staking other people, and there are so many levels of just like, there are ways to go about it and do it smart, but most people don't do it that way. I didn't for many years. And yeah, I could go on for a long time about that, but I actually don't think that is like poker economy kind of talk. Is that really interesting to most of you guys? I don't really know. I feel like it probably isn't. But yeah, so that's that, I suppose. Dear Jay Carver, I am a true run-it-up legionnaire, warrior, and the summer villain, so thanks for the videos. Wow. Much better than the last guy who was like, I don't really like you that much. I was like, all right, hey, I don't blame you. I don't make you. That's fine. You do what you gotta do. I found that you've helped my game a lot. Wow, all caps. And I even watch your videos when I get tilted. Your overzealous attitude cheers me up. XD. Wow, I love you, whoever you are. You're great. You're hitting everything. My question is, did you ever get bored of the grind at any point in your early career? If so, did you play through it for the money? And would that have hurt the way you played? Cheers. Cheers from the UK. That's right. UK running up Samurai over there. Yes, that's right. Thank you for your question, sir. Didn't sign your name, so I'm not going to read your name. But yeah, I definitely did at times get bored of the grind, but I mean, in my early career, I didn't. In my early career, I definitely was just like all about it and never really felt anything besides like a love for poker. But, you know, of course you have bad weeks, bad days, bad months. You don't feel like playing so much, you know, and you just got to either power through it if you need the money, or like I didn't need the money, so I just didn't play. Do other things, play other games, play video games, play other poker games, play small stakes PLO if you're playing the limit professionally, whatever it is. I think you do your own thing, and I think there's always other options for you to take your poker passion and apply it other places or wherever. Magic is another good poker alternative if you're interested in that kind of like card game, that kind of thing. I think there are similar thought processes and like value and card advantage and stuff like that I think have at least somewhat comparative outlets. So, you know, I later in my career when I would like, you know, man, there was a time in my life when I was like low mid 20s where I had like, at one point, I was like bottomed out with like 10K to my name. I had a house, obviously, but like 10K liquid. And I was like, well, fuck, man, I guess I got to play poker again. And so I did, obviously, and it was fine. And I definitely had to grind it there. And you can't be bored. That's what your income is. You know, if you want to pay bills, you got to play poker. So at that point, you know, if you guys are in that situation and you're feeling bored, well, that just kind of sucks. You know, it's just time to get in there and do some work. So, you know, there's not always a great option for you, but if you're playing professionally and you get bored of the grind, keep it fresh. Go play like three levels smaller than you normally play, and instead of playing like, you know, your normal poker game, play every hand. See how it goes. You'll learn some things. You'll have some fun with it. I think it's important that you keep poker fresh and fun and talk to people and do some coaching. Even if you're not a coach, you go, I'm not good enough to be a coach. What does that fucking mean? You're smart enough to talk, aren't you? Apparently smart enough to give me an attitude. So, like, I think it's good. Take that and just talk to your friends and be like, hey, can I look over one of your hand histories? What are they going to say? No? Like, you know, keep your dirty hands off my hand history? I don't think so. So you'll have an opportunity there to, like, talk to somebody, look at their hands, see how they're doing differently, see, like, what they're thinking, dissect and analyze their thoughts, share your thoughts. Everyone gets better. All tides rising makes the boats float better. Isn't that how it goes? Huh? Oh yeah, that's the title of the episode. Running up number 86. All tides rising makes boats float better. Yes. Huh? By the way, I'm gonna have to wrap this video up because, like Cinderella, I feel like I've got the warning alarm, and it seems like the video is gonna have to wrap up sooner rather than later. All right, we've got 10 minutes. Let's make it count, kids. Let's do some work, please. We're stuck like $8. We need to win $8. I don't want to run it down. I want to run it up. Please, Cyborg Sharon Osbourne. Let's give me $8, please. We're gonna have to earn it, I guess, huh? Check. Interesting. Okay, let's see if Sharon Osbourne will just check fold to $4. I doubt it. Maybe. It's possible. It's possible. All right, nice. $2 up. We have like $6 to go in 5 minutes or less. All right, we're on our way. And there's a post in there as well. Michael Wang with $11. Just thinking about it. Should he shove? Should I wait? He decides to wait. I'm in there though. I have no time to wait. I'm a velociraptor in there, and you're all going out of style. No time to wait. I don't know what that going out of style thing is supposed to mean, but I'm sticking with it. No revisions. Not the greatest flop, but we're a turn card away from having 6 in a row, which is kind of sweet. As I said, a turn card away from having 6 in a row. 11 seems fine. Hopefully our opponent just has a jack and we just win all the money. Okay. Well, $38 in the pot. We have $33 behind. I think his decisions at this point are pretty binary. Either he calls or he doesn't. Whether we bet 21 or 33, I don't think it matters. Hopefully he has 5 in a row. All right. Oh, nice. Made it back just in time. Just in time to see that we won that pot. All right. We did it. I'm sorry. I'm not playing you, sir. All right. Sick timing by the other guy. Sick timing. Sick timing that as we're waiting to see the action, he hops up. All right. Hey, cool. Thanks, bro. Good timing on that there. All right. We'll play one more lap around the table, and then we'll call it a video. Obviously, kind of a cooler for our opponent there that he just happened to have a lower straight. We had a higher straight. You know, hey, we had 6 in a row. He had 5 in a row. It only seems fair that we should win. So yeah, to your question, sir, from Almost Leads. I think, there are lots of different ways you can keep poker fun and fresh, and you should keep poker fun and fresh. Run your own late night poker lab, post your own Facebook thing and say, hey, people, post some hands, I'll help you out. I think, that's all good and fine and things to do. All right. If I didn't answer your question, write me another question. I'll re-answer. No problem. Dear and what up, J Carves? Keep up the good vids, yo. Thanks, bruh. For 2 questions, yo. For a young aspiring gangster and poker player, how do you improve discipline in terms of both bankroll and hands played, yo? Well, yo. I would say to be disciplined in terms of bankroll, I think you got to think of your poker life as a business, right? And any good business needs to have some sort of understanding of what your finances are before you can really properly go to war and do battle and whatnot. So I think it's important that you play with, that's a kind of a pretty flop for deuce 6 of blue over here. So yeah, you got to be aware of what's in your arsenal and then make correct distributions as to what you think you should be playing. If you have $1,000, you shouldn't play 1-2 no limit. If you have $1,000, you shouldn't play $5 sit and goes either. You want to figure out what your goals are for poker and then construct a bankroll strategy that kind of suits what your goals are. Yo. So I think you want to, I think you got to just figure it out, put it together. Put together all your information in your little, and then that's it. You'll be good to go. Yo. And second question. What kind of food should you eat? Wow, just like how I did that there. All right, I'll do that one for this. What kind of food should you eat or prepare for a long I can't do it. Sorry. I should have reread your question before. I just saw what kind of food and I was like, oh, a food question. Great. What kind of food should you eat or prepare for a long online MTT grind, yo? I get hungry, yo. I get you. I feel you, bro. I feel your pain. And apparently we're going to sit here with our deuce 6 of diamonds for about 30 minutes. What should you eat? Definitely turkey burgers and water, bro. Don't even question. It's definitely just the truth. It's the true, as they say. I recently saw Cloud Atlas, by the way. Loved it. Thought it was great. Fantastic movie, I thought. Those I watched it with did not agree. But I thought it was a tremendous, phenomenal movie. I thought it was great. Much love, French Gangsta. Well, thanks, French Gangsta. Right on. Can't knock the hustle, bro. That's right. Did I play any on a site of things? Yeah, I did play on that site. I did a video series called Eating Cake where I might have played on the site you're asking me about. So, yeah. Hey, Jay Carver. Oh, cool. Sweet. Oh, yeah. Finally made it to 4 blue cards. Rather, 5 blue cards. Much more exciting than having 4 blue cards. I'm going to check to Sharon, give her a chance to bluff. Sharon says, I ain't bluffing shit. All right, Sharon. Well, bet, I suppose. I'm going to bet a lot because I feel like he's going to have a pretty good hand pretty often. Or just not be able to call anything. So, yeah. So that's why I did that there. All right, let's see if we can beat the clock. Let's see if we can finish the video before we are invaded. invaded by people. Huh? Dear. Okay. I wasn't going to read your email, and then I decided I had to. Dear Jay Carver, speaking of old canards, I gotta say, never heard the word canard before, but I feel you. I feel what you're saying there. Dear Jay Carver, speaking of old canards, which no one is speaking of, or has even heard of before, but okay, I am one. Because at 53, I feel confident in saying that I am in the top 2% of your oldest run-up warriors. It's definitely true. You could be a top 2% oldest. That's definitely possible. But I know there's at least one who just turned 60 because I wished him a happy birthday, so I know for sure. So I don't know how you fit in the scheme of things, but yeah, you're probably top 2%. That sounds about right. Gonna check call here. Probably pairs are gonna be good. Sixes, or eights rather, will be probably good. Spades would be sweet as well. Deuce of puppy dog feet was not on my Christmas list. Neither is the King of Hearts, but can't check. We have 10 high, so let's bet $8 and hope he folds a size. Maybe he folds a size. All right. That's right. Get out of here trying to re-raise and steal from us. No. We are the ones who steal. You know? Oh, yeah. Boy. Lot of words. Oh, yeah. Sorry. I didn't finish your question. Sorry. You had an actual question in your old Canards email I missed. Your question is, if after a half hour you don't know who the sucker is at the table, it's you. Do you think this is true? No, not necessarily true, but I do feel like you should be on the right track by half an hour of playing poker. If you're not playing poker for a half hour and don't know who the bad players are, you're not paying enough attention, or you're just in a game where people are all too good. We're all in, obviously. I mean, could we be beat? Yeah, of course. But we have 2 queens. You guys see the nonsense I go all in with? 2 queens is the fucking nuts, bro. Win or lose. You can't fold 2 queens. I'm all in. I got them pocket queens, yo. Oh, 3-way all in. Oh, I'm rooting for the pocket. I'm rooting for the 5-6 or a diamond. I guess would be all right as well. All right, I guess diamond not going to be as all right. Give him an 8. No 8. I can't do anything about that. And we're actually very close to still being break even because we had the money to spare. Plus, maybe we even cover the 5-6. Is it possible we cover the 5-6? No, we don't cover the 5-6. All right. I might have to quit before it gets around to us, because now it's a full-handed poker game. I'll move the camera down. See, we should just stick to our 5-8 offsuits and such, and we shouldn't get involved with our pocket queens. That's the issue, clearly. So yeah, I mean, look, I don't think you should necessarily be able to label people perfectly as like, you're bad, you're awful, you're giving it away. Like, that's probably not realistic, but you should at least have inclinations after 30 minutes and be like, oh, okay, there's a person who seems like he's tilted, and there's a person who seems like he's not paying great attention, and there's you should be able to do that after 30 minutes, or, if you're paying attention and looking to make money. If you're looking to have fun, then, who cares? But if you're looking to make money, you should have some good semblance of that. And yep, and you're definitely you even say here that too quick judgment can get you into trouble because you can miscast your opponents in different roles when all that happened is that they were like, you think they're really loose when they were just on a heater. Yeah, for sure, which is why you should keep that construction in your mind. Not that this player is loose, but that this player has been playing loose recently, and that this player you're suspicious of being aggressive. You don't know for sure, obviously, until you can develop that profile, right? So it's all about that mental construction of like, not that this player is super loose, super aggressive, but that this opponent might be, could be, is likely to be, is possibly. All of those things are definitely how you should construct your mental thought process and when you come to approaching that kind of stuff. Thanks for your question, Mike, who points out he is not yet on Social Security. Good to know. One last hand here under the gun, and then we'll do some quick math and wrap this video up, hopefully before disaster strikes. I feel like Cinderella over here. Jay Carver, Cinderella. All right. Dear Jay Carver, how do you feel about the fact that some fans feel so fanboyish, fanboy is what you wrote, about how All right, I tried to do this fast. Didn't work out for me. Dear Jay Carver, how do you feel about the fact that some fans feel so fanboy about you the same way you feel about Chael? Do you feel weird that people look up to you like that? I don't know how true that is, to be honest with you, and I guess it's normal. That's what I'm going to go with for that. I guess, sure. I don't know how to respond to you, to be honest. And if I read your question, I might not have answered you. But you did like my playlist on the last stream. So, hey, there's that. Marek from Canada. Thanks for your question, Marek. All right, let's do some quick math for one. So we lost 8 and change over there. So we started with 100, ended up 91.35. Then we won 766. Oops. So we were down 8. We were down 865 and we won 766. So we lost $1 this video. All right. Well, didn't run it up, but we didn't really run it down. Didn't even lose $1. That's kind of sweet, I guess. And we were all in with queens, for a lot. That would have been good. And then we tried to bluff it all off to the other guy. So, all right, all in all, we lost $1. Not the worst video ever, I suppose. All right, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I enjoyed this video. This was a lot of fun. I thought this was a fun video. If you enjoyed, like the video. That's how I know you liked it. It's just true. I'll be back with more very soon. Don't forget, facebook.com/jcarverpoker, dearjcarver@gmail.com. Write me an email. I'll answer it on the show, maybe sort of, if you're lucky. And that's it for me. I will see you guys back for more very, very soon. Peace. Deuces.